It is undeniable that the changing climate is causing an increase in sea levels worldwide. The potential issues are absolutely endless, let alone the ones we face this very day. Coastal settlements of all kinds are feeling the stress of this, and people everywhere are being forced to yield their homes to the sea. It is of little importance who is to blame. What matters is that we have the capacity to see it, understand it, and change it. The main sources of rising sea level are all ultimately linked to climate change and global warming. Global warming and the trends of greenhouse effects results when the atmosphere traps heat radiating from the Earth towards space. Thermal expansion is caused when water in the ocean heats up and expands, and thus occupying more space. Persistently higher temperatures caused by global warming have led to greater than average summer melting, as well as diminished snowfall due to later winters and earlier springs. This imbalance results in a significant net gain in runoff versus evaporation for the ocean, causing sea levels to rise. With the sea levels rising in the Indian Ocean and the changing weather conditions, millions of people in low-lying areas and small islands will be forced to migrate. The country of Maldives, an island nation of 1,192 islands, is sinking. The sea level has risen just over 7 inches since 1900 and should increase by 2 more feet by 2100. It is expected to lose about 77% of its land area by that same year. It is the most at-risk country in southern Asia in relation to climate change impact. With 80% of the land lying below 3.3 feet above average sea level, the Maldives is the flattest country on Earth, making it vulnerable to coastal flooding and sea level rising. The Maldivian Ministry of Home Affairs, Housing and Environment has identified potential measures to help the country adapt to the rising seas. These include protecting groundwater and increasing rainwater harvesting, as well as increasing the elevation of critical infrastructure. The Republic of Kiribati is a string of 32 coral atolls and one island located in the Pacific Ocean midway between Australia and Hawaii. The vast majority of Kiribati's land masses stand 1 to 2 meters above sea level. The United Nations classifies Kiribati as one of the world's 49 least developed countries, with unemployment rates at nearly 75%. Most inhabitants rely heavily on subsistence farming, yet must cope with a severely limited resource base. As a result, internal migration to the capital island of Tarawa in search of employment has seen the island's population density surpass that of Hong Kong, Bangladesh, and London. The 100,000 people who call this island nation their home are currently at the mercy of the thermal expansion of the seawater and the increasing melting of glaciers and ice sheets around the world. The resulting sea level rise, which has quadrupled in the Pacific Ocean, combined with poor infrastructure and a severe lack of resilience against rapidly changing environmental conditions, is causing coastal erosion, the salination of soils, and an increase in the severity of storm surges. These devastating events are wreaking havoc upon the helpless Kiribati people. Development projects, such as ones mentioned previously, present concrete and practical solutions to the increasing threat of rising sea level. The reality remains that hundreds of millions of people on a global scale will be forced to migrate from their homes within the next 50 to 100 years. Many developing small island states, such as the Maldives and Kiribati, are most susceptible to suffering serious effects of rising sea levels. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, climate change interacts with several global megatrends, such as population growth, human mobility, urbanization, as well as food, water, and energy insecurity to multiply and accelerate migration and displacement. However, according to the 1951 Geneva Convention relating to the status of refugees, a refugee is a person who faces persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, or membership of a particular social group or political opinion. This individual must be outside of his or her country of nationality and cannot make use of legal protection provided by his or her country of nationality or return to it. This implies that human cause must be responsible for the persecution. It is therefore clear that despite the overwhelming evidence that exists related to climate change, no concrete definition exists for a climate migrant. What is needed is an extension of current legal protection pertaining to refugees to include individuals forced to migrate due to climate-induced events. This framework must provide global legal circumference. Climate-induced migration will manifest itself on a global scale. All nations must ratify and sign the agreement. Methods of combating environmental factors causing migration must be integrated into the arrangement. The arrangement must have a cognitive impact. It must educate and raise awareness towards climate-induced migration and its social effects. Finally, democratic legitimacy must be a focal point of the arrangement. It must benefit and respect the rights and freedoms of those forced to migrate.